Okay, good afternoon. My video got cut off, and they've done that to me before. They've done that to me multiple times before. I believe it's, and so does my friend Tommy. We believe that, um, like the thing that happened with my phone, and he's got weird things happening with his phone. Okay, he's my other friend, Tommy Edwards, that I've had on my channel before. Okay, so yesterday he found some Israeli spyware on his phone. He sent me a bunch of things that he found. It was embedded in an app on his phone, Grok app. GROK. I don't know what that is, but he literally found an Israeli spy app on his phone. Okay, this is the Mossad, I guess. Spying on us. The name of the thing came up as Sentry, Sentiry. Okay, so we've got Israeli proof that Israel is spying on us. Okay, so we had that happen. I believe that's who was involved in hacking my phone when I had no phone service a couple weeks ago. Okay, this is not a joke. There's actual evidence. He has actual evidence. Okay, so you know. Okay, so but I was talking about the police issues here, and for me, this has gone on for a long time, and I've been exposing for quite a while how it's so concerning that the police literally get away with murder here. So I'm going to play a little clip of a video that I did about like a year ago or a couple of years ago, where I documented like all the people that had been murdered by the police. And the last one was at Ricky Cobb in Shakopee, Minnesota, and that was the state police. And and he never did any time at all. I mean, he didn't get any sentence for murder at all. And they won't show the police footage of what happened. They're withholding the actual footage. I fully believe that the police here in Minnesota are involved in political targeting. And I'm starting to wonder if, because there's this whole list of people in Minnesota that were killed by the police. It's gone on for years now. And I'm starting to wonder if, there was a lot more going on. Like they were somehow politically targeted, got on a list. I think they literally have a list, and they're politically targeting people in the state of Minnesota. I believe the politicians are involved, and because there's so many people, and I believe I fully believe they are targeting Christians and Trump supporters. So because there's a pattern for sure with the Trump supporters. Okay, but and then somebody sent me this video here about market. Oh, sorry. The feds and local cops, they're trying to illegally surveil.
Welcome once again to Leto's Law. Here's
Presley interrogated him, and when he wouldn't consent to a search of his truck, the deputy called in a drug-sniffing dog, which they say alerted.
So this is Steve Leto.
Now, there were no drugs in the vehicle. Deputies tore through his truck, found nothing, and sent him home with thousands of dollars of damage to his vehicle. And I've mentioned this before, a lot of people don't realize this, is that if they search your house, or they search your home, they don't just open up doors and look inside and go, oh, I don't see anything. They'll tear stuff apart looking for stuff. And if they don't find it, they go, well, we were just looking for something, we didn't find it. So the IJ took this case. They knew it was going to be an important challenge to the many illegal stops where officers fish for cash to seize based on hunches. But as the IG attorney representing Alec told the AP, what we found is something much larger. A system of mass surveillance that threatens people's freedom of movement. Border Patrol agents had tracked Alec as he drove to a hotel 80 miles from the border, tracked him the next day as he met with a client, then tracked him as he drove home. They then passed that information to local deputies. And what's happening is this. There are networks, of course, of automated license plate readers, many hidden in innocuous places along the highway. They take photos of license plates.
Okay, so
and
they're-
sometimes
they're-
drivers'
they're-
faces.
they're trying
as
to
you
take-
go about your daily.
They're trying to take pictures with this license plate technology or something now. When I went to a mechanic here locally, I know that I noticed that they asked for my license plate, and that was something new. I've never had a mechanic ask for my license plate before. Yeah, so I mean, this, we already have enough surveillance. We don't need more. We need to start doing something, get very serious about less surveillance, because they clearly have proven that they will abuse their authority. And that's why I take it very serious, because they've done.
An algorithm uses that data to determine what law enforcement calls patterns of life. The algorithm then flags anomalies, things as common as driving on a back road or making a quick trip to a town near the border, which officers then pass to law enforcement, often informally through things like WhatsApp messages. Local officers find or make up pretexts to stop the cars flagged by the feds. As detailed in the article, those stops can lead to searches, the seizure and forfeiture of cash or vehicles, and arrests of innocent people. The AP characterizes the agency's surveillance role as akin to a domestic intelligence operation. Once limited to policing the nation's boundaries, Border Patrol has built a surveillance system stretching into the country's interior that can monitor ordinary Americans' daily actions and connections for anomalies instead of simply targeting wanted suspects. We've talked about this before, about how Border Patrol says, well, we don't just watch the border, because the border is a line, and if you took geometry in school, a line is very, very...
Okay, so basically, they got this license plate technology or something that they're trying to use, to target, to make it more illegal surveillance, basically. Okay, then they were trying to push these camera surveillance. They had those in those were an absolute catastrophe. Okay, those like you get where you just get monitored from above, and then you get a ticket sent in the mail that you got to pay. Yeah, they were trying to pass those in Minnesota. Okay, those they had those in Arizona that they implemented years ago when I lived there, and there wasn't even any way of fighting it, because it wasn't like an actual cop that gave you the ticket, and you get this thing in the mail and you just have to pay it. Otherwise, there's a warrant. It's like you have no way of even fighting it, because they say you comes with like a picture of you. And they set them up like literally in traps. Like it literally was like entrapment, and you have no way of fighting it. It's literally like a total scam operation. What happened in Arizona? There was they finally just started. Some people with a gun just finally started shooting them all down. That's what happened. I mean, they were just terrorizing people with that program, and there was no way to fight it. And also there was some lights that were actually rigged in Arizona. There was this one so I personally had an experience, and I have this video on my channel, where I was going to Mesa Community College at the time, using my GI Bill, doing some classes there, and it was they were like targeting this one area, this stoplight, and so I was taking a left turn going out of the college, and it was green and went yellow to red right in the middle of the turn. So there was no way, so you couldn't stop in the middle of the turn. So what am I supposed to do? Stop in the middle of the street when it goes red? So a bunch of college students, including myself, we got these tickets in the mail. And so anyway, we ended up calling, I think Channel 3 News. I think her name was Crystal Cruz at the time, and she came out and did a story. And because I had the footage when this happened to me, I turned around and I actually got the footage of a couple more vehicles going through, and you could see how the light went off, and there was no way they could stop. It went from green to yellow for like 1 second. It's supposed to stay yellow for a certain amount of time, and then it went to red, and they were getting it was literally like a scam. total scam. I caught it right on camera. A bunch of people, there's no way they could stop it. They were in the middle of the of the turn, and so and then it also turned out is a safety hazard, because what if somebody does try to stop because it turns red, and then they could have caused an accident. So these these camera things are a total violation. They got in trouble for that kind of thing because there was a story done on those, and then so there was a lot of complaints. So we clearly, but it's just they keep trying to do these things. That's why I'm saying it seems like they're nothing but pirate Nazis instead of real public servants anymore. Like always trying to find ways of scamming us instead of actually being public servants. And that's what I keep pointing out. So let's see, this was, I think, the video that I did on, this was the video that I did. It's called Touching on People Murdered by the Police in Minnesota.
It is June 5th, 2024. This is Debbie Davis, and
so this is 2024. I did this video.
I wanted to do a video just kind of clarifying some things from the last video that I did.
Okay.
This is from somebody that's another targeted individual like myself, and
okay, so I think so I touch on all the people
June
that were
6th,
murdered.
And this, she reminded me. She said, "Watch out, because tomorrow is June 6th, 2024, and if you add up those numbers, it's 6. June is 6, and it's the 6th day, and then 24 is 6, and they in a job or whatever, they think they can just But we're dealing with a spiritual situation where we're dealing with people that are Satanists that with the police, because it wasn't just the George Floyd thing, that happened.
Okay, so we got George Floyd, of course. That was a really, of course,
so
the whole nation heard about that one.
But there was 2020.
There was so many other murders here.
And he's standing on his neck for 8 minutes. When he says he can't breathe. Why don't you just? And he's apparently on drugs already. So so why don't you just handcuff him and?
Well, I mean, okay, so apparently, he ended up dying of a fentanyl overdose, but it's just the fact that they were standing on his neck instead of when he clearly was saying he couldn't breathe. So why didn't you just put him in the ambulance and handcuff him? That the part, because like this Derek Chauvin tried to say, oh, I need a new trial, because I wasn't the cause of his death. But you didn't help. You certainly didn't help. You sit there and stood on his neck, and when he said he couldn't breathe, instead of just handcuffing him, putting him in the ambulance. Apparently he had bought drugs or something, and he had put them in his mouth when he saw the police coming, and so and I guess he died of probably died with the fentanyl and stuff too. But that's not, just because you standing on the neck wasn't the cause of his death. You certainly didn't help either. You should have just handcuffed him and put him in the ambulance. That's the whole point. And then nobody, it's just from this point on, nobody trusts the police, because this was a nationwide video.
Bring him in for treatment. And handcuff it. Why do you need to stand on his neck for 8 minutes? So if he's on drugs, handcuff him, bring him in. The reason why I did some of these videos, couple of these videos of how corrupt the courts are. Okay, I was pulled over on the way to work, for a minor brake light issue, and then they added a fake charge.
Yeah, I've been pulled over for in the past, a brake light thing You know, that should just be just a warning. Oh no, here you know, I got a ticket. And like I was supposed to know that my brake light was out. And then the same thing happened recently too. And I believe that whatever they put on my car that's tracking me illegally, because I still have this issue with my car, and I believe that they are causing these things to happen as reasons to pull you over. It's literally like a scam racket operation that they have going on with the mechanics and the police here. And I mean, it literally, I mean, there's so many scams that literally, how can we ever trust the police anymore? I mean, it's just unbelievable. You know, trying to put these camera lights on now. I mean, you already are caught with all these murders here that were, you know, they didn't go to jail. Now you try to do more surveillance with this license plate thing. It's just like you're proving every day that you're just nothing but trying to do fraud and racketeering against us instead of trying to protect us. It's just, you know, it's just becoming more and more evident that you aren't public servants. You're here to push an agenda, okay? And that is why it's just becoming so obvious, you know.
Saying I was on my phone at the same time. I was not on my phone.
Yeah, they
Okay,
gave me.
It was 5:45 in the morning. Do you think
I got pulled over on the way to work a couple years ago in Plymouth, Minnesota, where I supposedly had a brake light out, like I'm supposed to know. You know, because of course I have eyes in the back of my car, right? And they didn't give me a warning. They gave me an actual ticket, and then I had to, you know, I got it fixed.
Okay.
But then he tried to say add an additional charge, saying I was also on my phone, and they never showed any footage in court. I was never and I still got this wireless charge, even though they never showed any footage, and they didn't even let me have a real court date. They sent me this notice about this court date, but they didn't say that I had to be there in person. And I said, no, I can't make it there. I was waiting for a Zoom court link. And they said, no, this is in person. And I said, well, I'm sitting here waiting for the Zoom link that you were supposed to send. So they totally tricked me into thinking that I had a Zoom court date. And then they tried to say said last minute that it was in person. And I said, well, there's no way that I can make it. And so they had the court date without me. They did not prove, there was no footage that I was on the phone. But because I didn't make it to the public appearance, they charged me with this illegal charge. I mean, they have the dirtiest scam operation going on here in Minnesota with these fake charges, and with the police going along with it, that I just need to warn people with my videos of how shady they are. Yeah, I was waiting for a Zoom court link. This was from an incident that happened in Plymouth. That was supposed to be a Zoom court link, and then they said, oh no, this one was, you know, changed. They didn't bother telling me it was going to be in public, and that I needed a public. You're allowed to have just a Zoom as long as you show up for court. What does it matter if it's Zoom or in person? My other ones they sent me just a Zoom court link, and that was not a problem. You know, I had no way of I was having issues with my car at the time, so I had no way of getting there. So this is how dirty they are. And so because I didn't make it to the public appearance, they had the court without me, without any representation at all. So this is what they're doing now in Minnesota. They're allowing them to proceed with a court date without any representation at all. I had no representation at all. And they proceeded to charge me with a wireless charge without any representation. I had no public defender, no anything. And they'll proceed with a court date without any representation at all. And does that sound legal? Of course that's not legal. But I still have this on my record. Okay? This is Walls in Omar State, you know, with the criminal cops going along with it that I know are Masons. Okay, then we got all these murders.
The courts are so corrupt here that they don't even let you know about a court date or if there's a warrant or anything about some outstanding issue.